Yes, guys, I'm finally back in England, and this has been a crazy 3.5 weeks. I went to Berlin, I went to Lisbon, Portugal, I went to Krakow in Poland, I went to Foshan City and Guangzhou in China. It was such a crazy adventure. Now, as most of you know, I had a really shitty return travel back from China to England. So I'll explain that right now. So, on the day of leaving, I got up nice and early, I was ready. The taxi driver was ready, and we left on time. And then the taxi driver took two wrong turns, and that is the end of the whole thing, right? So now we get to the airport 30 minutes before my flight, so I missed the bag check-in. I missed the entire flight because of that. And so, in result, we had to try and get me a flight to Malaysia just in time to get my Malaysia to London flight. So I had to use my own money, go and currency exchange it with a big commission fee into Chinese yuan, and then I came back to the desk. We booked the flight, and that was all good, great. Then, as soon as it had booked, they had told me that because it's now booked with a different airline, I need a Malaysian visa to go to the airport. So I asked how to get a Malaysian visa, and they said you need 48 hours to do that, so I couldn't do that. So I spent the next hour and a half trying to get that flight money back. And then as soon as I got that back after that time, I had to go and haggle the commission fee and the Chinese currency place to get my actual money back. Money back. And then I just hung around with extremely bad Wi-Fi. Finally got on the phone to Abby, one of the organisers at China, so thank you, Abby. And she sorted me a flight back 10 hours later than what the time was at the time. And it was from China to Istanbul, Istanbul to London. So I just waited around in the airport for about 10 hours. And then I finally got my flight. We sat down on the flight, and there's a 2-hour wait between my flight in Istanbul to the one to go back to England. So we sit on the plane, and then a thunderstorm happens out of nowhere. Extreme lightning and rain. So we're sat on the plane for 4 hours just waiting. And as this time's ticking, I'm knowing that I've missed my flight, my next flight. Woo! So I'm just sat there waiting, writing some lyrics, sat there just bored out of my brain. And then we finally leave at like 2 a.m. So I don't know what time my body's on at the moment. And then we fly to Istanbul, and they caught up an hour and a half on that plane. And as we landed, I could say bye-bye to my flight to London. I could watch the plane leave. So I went to the desk, and they got me a flight transfer, which was 5.5 hours later than that one. So there was more 5.5 hours waiting. And they also called me to go to security desk. I was like, this is so sick. And they told me that they are confused if my bag went onto the Istanbul flight or if it's here. So that took about 15 minutes, and they figured out that it is already automatically on my London flight. So I just waited around, had a good call with Paponi, spoke to my girlfriend a little bit, and then I took the Istanbul flight to London. And my dad's friend picked me up from London, but he had to wait an extra 2 hours because it took 1.5 hours for my bag to come out. 212. My bag was a 212 bag. Yes, I fucking counted. I counted because I was so bored. And it finally got done, and then I got home, and then everything's now good. So I'm very sorry that I've been extremely inactive on Instagram and my Facebook page and even YouTube, but you can see that completely changed now. I'm back home, I have all my motives, and I'm ready. I'm so ready. So I'll be posting about my travels, my placements in battles, everything now, so you'll see that soon.